بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السيد الرئيس عبد الفتاح السيسي
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, ladies and gentlemen,
في هذا الجانب من هذه الجلسة الممتدة
now we are going to continue in this session tackling the economic file, what we have witnessed and all the obstacles on the way, to know the more details we have and how to deal with them. First, we tackled the main specifications regarding the general budget and the efforts exerted and steps taken by the state in this regard. Also, we are going to tackle the international partnerships and the financial programs with our international stakeholders and partners, and we're going to focus on industry in Egypt in this regard and all the challenges and changes to take place. Here we are going to welcome Minister of International Cooperation, Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, and Minister of Industry, Ahmed Samir. With Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, we are going to start the state's philosophy regarding the international financial programs and what are the most important elements of the programs. In the name of God, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, ladies and gentlemen, and coming from what we have witnessed in the morning, the state has a number of strategies now. As we see, the world is connected a way or another from the national vision to international partnerships, how we established bridges with the international community to implement the Egyptian vision via diversified international partnerships. Since 2014, we started witnessing the transformation of the Egyptian relations with our partners from different countries, and we are going to see a number of models and also boosting the economic diplomacy. We have to push forward international cooperation with the multilateral partnerships and NGOs, also to boost the national agenda coinciding with achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Also, development cooperation we witnessed on the ground to benefit from the international partnerships, also to implement on the ground our strategic priorities and to boost and to enhance the management of development cooperation with international partners in different domains. And we are going to witness all these measures on the ground. The International Cooperation Ministry is connecting the entities here inside the country, whether it's public institutions or NGOs, with international cooperation, whether they are bilateral partners or multilateral partners. The concerned partners, we agreed with them on we agreed and we approved the strategic agreements coinciding with the implementing the goals of the sustainable development. In the past period of time, we witnessed a number of crises, and we were open to a number of countries. We used and benefited from the financial integration with the different partners to activate the role of economic diplomacy or the connection between all sides via the Ministry of International Cooperation. This is only a model of international partners like the European banks, the European investment banks, and other investment and financial institutions. Also the UN. We do also have bilateral partners. Multilateralism is very important, as all the boards of developmental institutions, they are our partners, and we do have bilateral ties with them, balanced relations with all of them, paving the way for achieving more cooperation, whether with the bilateral partners or multilateral parties. Those are the entities benefiting from these programs, whether the ministries or the government organizations like universities and ministries. Our work is going through many programs and projects on the ground, and also the management of international cooperation or economic diplomacy is vital, and there are a number of international measures implemented by the Egyptian state via the international cooperation ministries. Implementing those measures, they are coming on top of our priorities, coinciding with the national projects. These are the national properties, or we call it this way. The role of the International Cooperation Ministry, it's pivotal in evaluating this. Egypt is on top of the list. Also, the integrated partnership or the comprehensive partnership, our relation with the different institutions, the private sector is always there, the NGOs or the civil societies are always there, and they are, their presence is tangible on the ground, also focusing on the results, and we are going to see measuring the effectiveness of those goals, and also the exchanged responsibilities, because all what we establish from international partnerships, it's very much documented not only by us but the other sides. Also to introduce the presidential initiatives to our international partnerships. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi in 2015 in the conference in Sharm el-Sheikh, he announced a very clear vision regarding very limited projects. The Premier elaborated on them in the morning. All these projects were the background of drawing national strategies, the strategy of 2030, the national strategy for climate change. Egypt starts also a strategy of 2050 and the strategy of renewable energy 2035, and also presidential initiatives on top of the list of decent life and 100 million health. Also, regarding the strategy of the ministry, there were consultative sessions, not only the Egyptian state represented in governmental institutions, but also with the private sector and the NGOs to draw the regional and national strategies which limit our strategy with our partners. These strategies, we take the approval from the cabinet on them, and also to agree on them and to be released by international institutions. Why these strategies are important? Because they are deciding our relations with the international relations in the coming period. All this is already published, all this was approved and documented, whether it's the presidential initiatives or others. Also a very important issue, our relations with those institutions. We coordinate with them all the analysis reports, different studies, and all these studies and reports, it's a way to change some policies and to put some reforms required in the coming period. And these are different models also considered as an important medium involving a lot of recommendations by experts, whether Egyptians or foreigners. Also the developmental projects between Egypt and international partners. Many of these strategies were implemented on the ground via international partnerships. There are 5 elements, 5 points which were tackled by the Premier: food security, investment in human resources, boosting productivity, investment in infrastructure, and also governance of economy. All these are models, Takaful and Karama model or program. This was a national project in partnership with the World Bank, and also recently with the most recent crisis, we continued with this program, تكافل and Karama, and all the beneficiaries exceed more than 20 million citizens. Also, the women representative, it reached 75%. Also, mechanizing or the digitalization of this program, expanding its presence on the ground. Also, the food or the nutrition for the students, it reached a number of villages and it gained importance, and it really helped to let the students go to school without any absence. Also, this is included under the international agenda, and also it's another model how those institutions can repeat this model in many other countries. Also, Forza or a Chance program, also it's a part of تكافل and Karama initiative in cooperation with the World Bank, and this is helping and boosting the partnership between the public and private sectors, also to give job opportunities to many of our youth. And also another model, Noura, launched by First Lady and other international institutions, focusing on the female teens. Another program also, the technical schools project. 11 governorates are already enjoying the presence of this project in partnership with the American aid. 43% of the beneficiaries are females. Also, they're found in Asyut, for example. It's a distinguished excellence school. Also, the Japanese schools program or project is already implemented on the ground with the help and in partnership with the Japanese agency after the president's visit to Japan. Also, the Japanese university here in Egypt, another project. It's the pre-university education development and modernization in coordination with the World Bank. Also, the massive survey. The first phase, it was with the World Bank, and the Japanese and French agencies were included. 58 million citizens were examined. Also, modernizing and developing hundreds of health institutions. Families planning was also one of the targets after what we have witnessed of increase in the population. All these plans are implemented on the ground in partnership with the international institutions like the UN Fund for Population, the European Union, the USAID, and all the projects are implemented for beneficiaries on the ground. And the NGOs or the civil societies are responsible for implementing the projects on the ground. So all the national strategies are implemented not only by the state or the public sector, but also by the civil societies in different domains: health, education, food security, women empowerment, land reclamation, 400 million fedans. Also another project, sustainable reclaimed land in Upper Egypt in partnership with the UN Fund for Agriculture. Different projects, the silos, those are some of the partners we have. After the crisis which resulted from the Ukrainian-Russian crisis, the silos, for example, wheat. Also, we boosted the food security, how to face all these crises. Those are some of the models with the quick intervention into these crises to solve them on the ground. A number of other projects like investment in agriculture, raising the standard of living, particularly for for the small farmers, also the Egyptian and Saudi joint committee to boost SMEs. Also, other banks like the export banks considered some of the mediating banks for the SMEs. Also, the projects related to boosting the women's projects with the French government paving the way for more facilities to be given to women, particularly via non-banking services, helping in financial inclusion. Also, different projects with the United Nations for industrial development regarding the cotton seeds, for example. Also, the transferring industries, empowering youth. Also, part of them is for those coming to Egypt, many skills. The International Work Organization also is working with us in different domains, in different projects, and the SMEs, or the small and medium projects, also the small and medium projects institution regarding its financing system, paving the way for many startups in many governorates and provinces across Egypt, boosting the Egyptian youth. Also, the tourism and antiquity sector, we do have a number of programs, more than one program, and this sector is also the many projects in infrastructure projects. Binban in specific, it's very special. The restructuring of this, so the private sector is financed by our international financing institutions, so it's not only for the public sector, but it's also available for the private sector. And because of this, Binban was very special. In 2014, the whole world was not speaking about climate change as we do right now, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi witnessed with us our event regarding the session, how to have this mix between development and climate change. We were pioneers establishing the Binban station via facilitator financing from Japan, Germany, European Union, and other partners. Also, to supply houses with natural gas in partnership with the European Union and the French Agency for Development. And in all projects, all the time, the citizens are the core of all projects to realize on the ground the sustainable development goals and how they are documented on the ground and in details. Also, Bahr al-Ba'r sanitary drainage in 400,000 reclaimed fathans in Sinai. Also, the Yellow Mountain. All these projects are really proves that climate change and development are mixed together. Also, we stress that all these projects, they are not important not only for us but also for the World Bank. The most important part, our side of these projects, is not only about financing, also propaganda, marketing for Egypt. Another important project where how many farmers, millions of farmers, are benefiting from this project of treating water. Also, the first line of underground or the metro. The passengers, 2.5 million passengers are using the first line of the metro. This is boosting the tourism sector in partnership with the Japanese Agency for Development, also developing and modernizing the railway networks with the Korean partner, also the World Bank, the African Bank, the French Agency for Development. And here I want to stop saying that Egypt is very special in knowing how to coordinate among different international institutions. It's not found in many countries, but Egypt is specialized in that and is unique in that regard to have this kind of coordination among concerned ministries and bodies via the strategy which were put to follow the steps on the ground. And because of this, we are witnessing the results that fast, and because of this, we can coordinate efforts among different partners. I'd like also to focus on the railway development and modernization of our railway network. The Egyptian Sovereign Fund and the Suez Canal Economic Zone, NERC company, and of course the Ministry of Transportation with the Korean partners. They are really enjoying such partnership with the facilitated financing to instill and to localize industry. This is a very big goal of the Egyptian state currently. Also, we do have the report in the sector of October, which is implemented by the private sector, whether it's Egyptian or foreign, with finance of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Also, this is a climate change work, different partners, different projects, the housing sector, the sustainable transportation sector, also transforming into the sustainable economy regarding pollution in Cairo, and the beneficiaries are a lot from these projects, not only in Cairo or in Giza, but all over Egypt, whether all over Egypt, different projects regarding economic governance, boosting trade. They are also enjoying big international partnerships. The human cadres is a very important element in the state and in the government institutions. This is only a model. All the projects are implemented on the ground by the private sector, and this is a very important point. It's not only the public sector, also Decent Life Initiative. We do have only a model or an example how the partnership is implemented on the ground between the Egyptian state and the United Nations. 400,000 Egyptian citizens are benefiting from one of the projects or the models we are presenting now on the. As you see, there are development complexes in Sinai, 7 in South Sinai. There are many countries trying to deal with the international institutions and how to make our work distinguished with these institutions and to benefit from all the tools they have. We held a very important vision how to implement the goals of sustainable development. You can see in the website of the ministry how we documented this. If anyone would just enter or log on the website of the ministry, he or she would see how we are implementing on the ground the sustainable development goals via different projects. So this is a very important point, and one of the tools
مهتمين بيها لأنه بيبرز هم تدخلاتهم سندت الأهداف الوطنية، ولكن مش فقط الأهداف الوطنية، ولكن كل ده لتحقيق الأهداف الأممية. لو بصينا على أكثر الأهداف التي استحوذت على تمويلات تنموية، بنجد الطاقة الجديدة والمتجددة ب 34 مشروع، بنجد البنية التحتية 36 مشروع، وبنجد المياه النظيفة 43 مشروع. ده تاني متماشي جدا مع اللي قلناه في المؤتمر المناخ في شرم الشيخ، انه التنميه والمناخ كانوا يد بيد في الفتره الاخيره. تحفيز مشاركه القطاع الخاص ودي احد اهم الركائز في الفتره دي. ويا ترى ايه العلاقه ما بين دور شركاء التنميه والقطاع الخاص؟ بنجد ان في اليات مباشره بيقدروا يمولوا المشروعات التنمويه الكبرى، بيبقى من خلال استثمار، تسهيلات تجارة خارجية، خدمات استشارية، بيدوا ضمانات للاستثمار وبالتالي بيقللوا التكلفة، في دعم فني واستشارات، خطوط ائتمان، وأيضا تمويل مشروعات بالشراكة مع القطاع الخاص. كل دي أدوات متاحة للقطاع الخاص، وبنجد إنه القطاع الخاص مش بس الشركات الكبيرة اللي بتشتغل مع الدولة في المشروعات الكبيرة، ولكن أيضا مشروعات الصغيرة والمتوسطة وريادة الأعمال. مصر احنا في الوزارة مع هيئة الاستثمار عندنا شركة مصر لريادة الأعمال، أكثر من 175 شركة نالت هذا الاستثمار، وكثير منهم اشتراهم أو حصل ليهم تخارج، ودي كانت نقطة مهمة جدا. مبادرة شباب بلد ده جزء من برنامج للأمم المتحدة، ويمكن أطلق في مؤتمر الشباب في يناير 21 نسخة مصرية لبرنامج أممي مهم جدا، دعم قدرات رواد الأعمال والشركات التكنولوجية الناشئة، ده مع هولندا. أيضا في بعض التقارير اللي اتكلمت عنها عن بيئة العمل مع الشركاء المختلفين، عندنا البنك الأوروبي لإعادة الإعمار والتنمية، الجانب الكوري بيشتغلوا مع وزارات أخرى لصياغة برامج وصياغة إصلاحات خاصة بريادة الأعمال. وطبعا عندنا تمويل للشركات الصغيرة والمتوسطة اللي اتكلمنا عليه. لو بصينا على حزم التمويل،
الشرائح سنبقي عليها، لكن إذا تكرمت حضرتك قدر الإمكان يكون العرض أكثر رشاقة، لكن يعني حضرتك مش مضطرة تحذفي أي شريحة من الشرائح، لكن بشكل أوجز لو تكرمت.
لو بصينا على حزم التمويل الميسر للقطاع الخاص، وأنا بتكلم من 2020 لحد دلوقتي، لأن 2020 زي ما شفنا كانت سنة فيها أزمة كبيرة، كان كتير جدا من الدول القطاع الخاص فيها بيعاني بشكل كبير. الدولة المصرية القطاع الخاص استفاد بتقريبا 9.7 مليار دولار تمويلات ميسرة في صناعات تحويلية، في قطاع التمويل، قطاعات خدمية، وأيضا بنية تحتية. يمكن عايزة أتوقف عند برنامج نوفي، البديل الوطني للتعاون الدولي في مجال المناخ والتنمية.
The alternative program for the Ministry of International Cooperation to reach 42% of energy and to achieve this before 2030, and to have Egypt as a renewable energy and clean energy hub, including green hydrogen. This was launched in COP27 NWFI program. It's built on the national strategy for 2050. There are first priority projects in NWFI program. It's energy, water, and food. 9 projects are included in the priorities. Exchanging debts, giving technical support, insurance lines, development financing, all this to attract more private sector companies to work in those 9 development projects. This is a very important experience mixing development and climate change. It's a national platform, national project, but we benefit from the international partnership, expanding our presence to be included into the BRICS banks, to join alliances, and now we are now writing and forming our new strategy with the bank under the, in light of Egypt joining the BRICS to open more horizons of investment cooperation like Uzbekistan, Vietnam, and in South America, in addition to the Arab countries like the tripartite cooperation with Jordan and Iraq. Regarding our international partnerships, there's exchange of experiences and expertise, and also the volume of projects with our partners. We can repeat all these experiences with more countries, and this is exactly what's taking place on the ground with our international partners. We are able to host the decision makers from different countries to know more about how to coordinate with other partners to implement and to realize on the ground the national projects. There are many other projects like railway connection between Egypt and Sudan, between the electric lines and electric cooperation between Egypt and Saudi Arabia, different partnerships, and also we keep on the transparency with our partners. This is a very important system to follow up all these projects. It's taking place periodically from different sides to eliminate all obstacles on the way of these projects. Once again, to make it clear that all the data is documented in periodic reports. Also, we are responsible for propagating for these projects in different international and global platforms. Also, I'm going restructuring the financial world and global systems. It's taking place on the ground. This is taking place in approximately 1.5 years. There are 3 goals. The plan of Sharm el-Sheikh, how to make the finance is to make it easier for different countries to maintain the main goal of these institutions and to fight poverty and to realize sustainable development. And coinciding with the recommendations with our partners, we launched the Sharm el-Sheikh guide for fair finance, the fair finance, which is really implemented on the ground to make this balance. Also, this guide is recommending. I am honored to be Egypt governor in different international financing institutions. And of course, they are working with us in the Ministry of International Cooperation. We are trying to realize fair or just finance and to help the developing countries also to realize this fruitful partnership between the public and private sector to deal with the expected risks and the developing markets, and to repeat that Noafi platform is the platform suitable to achieve this and to implement this on the ground. And in every domain, in every event, it's really concerned with the restructuring of the global financial system. Thank you very much. Regarding the industrial sector is very vital for different sectors and for the normal citizens. Of course, it's sustainable jobs for citizens. Also, localizing industry is very important. Also, for the investors who want to enter this market, they should be aware. We're going now to have a documentary regarding the industrial sector in Egypt.
الصناعة مش كلامها تقوله ويحصل، الصناعة حلقة متكاملة، مش مجرد مصانع وعمال، الصناعة قرار.
Industry, it's not only some factories, it's a decision. They are not words, they are deeds on the ground.
وكان القرار ان الدولة المصرية لازم تفتح الملف ده وتشتغل على خطة متكاملة تنقلها من منطقة الاستهلاك لمنطقة الإنتاج.
Made a plan to move from consumption to production. The decision was very tough. It's not a decision to be taken in one section or in one sector. But here we're talking about economic zones, about productivity, and how to increase the industrial zones scattered all over Egypt. Really, the state is concerned with the industrial sector. The state worked on the industrial file and starting with the project to 100, more than 100 billion pounds were. And also there were a lot of initiatives and there were a lot of projects taking place even to help the small and medium projects also with the grants 1.3 billion pounds for social development and infrastructure. The state was capable to give incentives to exporters 5.8 billion pounds. The state also decided to make infrastructure for the new investors and new startups, 46 industrial complexes scattered all over Egypt, and 4 industrial complexes were also finalized on the ground. The achievements are going on the ground, and the textile industry is back on track. In addition to aluminum and steel, also localizing electric cars industry, green industries, and eco-friendly industries, in addition to fisheries, granite, marble. Made in Egypt. It was also found in Bani Suwaif, in the biggest cement company. The Egyptian state started to change all the licenses for the industrial sector. Also, qualifying the human cadres was a very important file. 43 technical centers were opened, receiving millions of youth, also reforming the technical education all over Egypt.
مفيش حلم بيبقى حقيقة من غير تحديات ويمكن
every dream is facing challenges and there is no bigger than the coronavirus as a challenge and also the Russian-Ukrainian struggle. So to face these crises, the state started with START or IBDA to localize industries and to help everyone who has an innovative idea in this regard.
وبدل ما كنا بنصدر ثرواتنا خام لغيرنا عشان يصنعها
And so we do not export our raw material but we manufacture them, and this bus, for example, made in Egypt is found there, and in all markets you are gonna find products carrying this label, made in Egypt, in many markets all over the world. And our factories are continuing to work in every domain and in every industrial sector. 3.7 million Egyptians are working in the industrial sectors in many of our companies and factories all over Egypt. 61% increase in our export is witnessed in 2022, and our dream is going to becoming bigger and bigger. The main goal is to turn back Egypt to the industry map worldwide.
الفيلم قدم جانب من
The documentary introduced only a part of the state's efforts in the field of industry, but here we are going to listen from Your Excellency, Minister of Industry, how to attract more investors and the incentives presented by the state to all the capitals and the investors.
In the name of God, most precious President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, ladies and gentlemen, first, in 2015, the industry indicators 22 exports. The industrial component 12.1. 20, now we reach 20 with 83% increase. The industrial production in 2014, 357 billion Egyptian pounds, more than 2 trillion pounds in 2023. The growth rate in transform industry, the numbers are duplicated. I just want to talk more about the vision for the coming period in 2014. How to unify the institutions, particularly the industrial land and the licenses in 2014. We were talking about limiting the industrial lands. Now there is a committee for all the foreign institutions to decide the industrial lands. Also, all the concerned bodies for the licensing. It's in the development industry in 2021. In 2022, we do have 147 industrial zones and 5 zones. Now we do have 17 industrial zones. Also, according to presidential directives, to make it easier for the small investors and industry men, we made it easier for them. More than 5,000 industrial units. Now we are watching of the most important industrial zones in Bani Suif, Alexandria, and Asyut. Specialized industrial zones as Rubaiki, the leather cities, in the furniture city in Damietta. The first in Rubaiki also we witnessed the inauguration of the textile industry. In the past 9 years, we made a list of 100 incentives for the Egyptian industry. 95 qualified workers are already in the market to boost the local manufacturing, the local industry, to support and to boost the industrial sector. We modernized 4,500 also industrial products, to also participating in external and international exhibitions. We made partnerships with Jordan and Bahrain. 22 labs are modernized in ports, activating the local products law. 65% of the fines are excluded. Also excluding the taxes on many of the industrial sectors. More incentives were taken regarding the golden license. 24 licenses were issued until the moment, and we are expanding and enhancing this issue. The future vision. Let's say that we learned from the very complicated crises which were faced by the global economy, starting with COVID-19, supply chains, inflation, the energy prices. Also, the supply chain was the most important problem. I have goals to reach exports 100 billion pounds. But I was very much negatively affected by these complicated crises, which were considered coming from abroad. We have no hand in that. What we can do and what's our vision for the future? What we can do, what we should do. We analyzed what was the most important factor which affected us negatively. The production components and the production requirements. It's already not found in the supply chain. This was a very important, vital problem. And because it was the reason behind the slow industrial growth. The second, the industrial map was changing. There are economies or industries already immigrated from those countries and moved to other countries. And now there are moves and localization of some industries from a place to the other. So what's our role? And the whole world is working on developing industrial strategies. On the contrary, and there are many countries which already changed their industrial strategies. What we can do, what's our vision, how I can reach the $100 billion exports, how I can compete, how I can enter and to invade these markets, how to control the competitiveness and how to have the production requirements. We worked on two axes: the strategy, the national strategy for industry. Before the end of October, it's going to be found, and we limited and made our goals. If I'm going to say that the industrial sector equals 20% of the economic component, can we reach 20% of labor, and how we can have our share in exporting? What are the challenges which were put by other countries after changing their strategies, and now we do have boundaries and limits for my exports in different domains, and these were procedures taken by many countries to protect their local industries. In 3 weeks, we are going to witness the launch of this strategy. The second point is production requirements. In 4 years, we limited 152 investment opportunities. Those 152 opportunities, most of them are production requirements entering into industry, or something which will realize whether it's going to be food industry's components or requirements to reach or to achieve food security and not to be negatively affected by any global crisis, or and pharmaceutical industry requirements. Those are the most important two axes. So, production requirements for achieving food security, and pharmaceutical or drugs and medicine security. I am not here speaking about alternating our imports. I am here talking about targeted industries, which I do need to maintain or to preserve my sustainable industry not to be affected by shocks. Also, we started already we started in all directions at the very same time. 160 pieces of land were already allocated with investments. 17 million pounds were allocated.
26,000 workers are going to work in those projects to achieve 90% of my first target. The 152 projects, $25.7 billion.
أنا آسف 12 مليار دولار دول
$12 billion
منها يعني حوالي مليار
represent 9% of the projects.
هيبقى عندي
They are going to be allocated.
في الميزان التجاري بتاعي. حددنا
Also,
سلاسل القيمة.
we limited the value chains, and this is only an example of the opportunities we have.
اللي كان ليها أهمية بالنسبة لي هي الأدوية واللقاحات
The imports
عندنا حجم واردات بحوالي 4.1
in the pharmaceutical industries.
دولار 4.1 مليار دولار. البوليمرز واللدائن 3.8
polymers 3.8
اشتغلنا في مشاريع تانية أخرى
million.
الفوسفاتية
Also the phosphate fertilizers, papers, etc. Mr. President, you directed the government in the last meeting to have a series of incentives for all these industries, and you said that all the taxes are going to be exempted for 5 years. Also the golden license, the land, and even if we can support all those investors in the field of industry, we can build even the headquarters for them according to the importance of the project. We collected from the ministries, from 6 ministries, all their requirements and needs for the coming 5 years: communications, transport, electricity, what are their needs, to localize industries, and also we finalized our draft law regarding the exemptions, and we are already about to have their approval from the cabinet to introduce it to the parliament. We are following up the implementation of these decisions. Thank you, sir.
سيادة الرئيس هل من تعقيب؟
يعني هختصر التعليق
I'm going to summarize my comment
وزير التجارة والصناعة وأقول
on
إحنا لما اتكلمنا على
the speech of the Minister of Industry when we spoke about the 2 lines in the last meeting, when we said that that our revenues to meet our expenses or to equal our expenses. A very big part, it was industry, and we were very much concerned with the industrial sector. What are our priorities? The priority is to start with the industrial sector. It's very important, but was the country's infrastructure ready to achieve this on the ground, and did we have the electricity or the gas available or affordable to supply the industrial sector? In this time, in 2014, in 2015, we were not ready. And so we prepared the country as infrastructure to launch industrial development. This was the hope. This is the hope for us. The 150 projects mentioned by Minister of Industry, we said that those 150 projects, we do not need visibility study for all of them, and we are ready even to introduce more incentives, more than what we have announced, because they can make some achievements regarding the foreign currency. What about the 150 projects list? How if I succeeded in attracting the foreign and the Egyptian private sector? This is going to decrease the consumption of foreign currency and the dollars. The dollar's expenses
بجيب مشتقات
it's a burden.
بالدولار ببيعها بايه؟
For example, regarding the petroleum products,
مستلزمات انتاج
the production requirements,
مواد غذائيه
the
بجيبها بايه؟
food commodities,
بجيبها بالدولار وببيعها بالجنيه.
I import them with dollars and I sell them with pounds. So, how we can achieve success on the ground regarding this to have the revenues equaling the expenses. The $25 billion, the list of the 150 projects, our dream, and here I see the opportunity to speak and to call on all the Egyptian investors to join the 150 projects. The production requirements, it's very well known for the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Industry, the Central Bank. The production requirements we import every year. All the production requirements included into this list we do import. So those projects and their visibility studies are saying that it's already in the market. So, for us as a state, we are going to continue giving more incentives to guarantee success. The visibility study might say that, okay, you are importing these requirements, but what about manufacturing those products here locally? How can I guarantee that? By giving more incentives to the investors. What are those incentives? For example, the taxes, 5 years exemption, it can be more than that. But we are going to start with 5 years. And we are experiencing the reaction to boost and to support programs like the exports programs. More than 50 or 60, yes, it's possible. Yes, if the commodities which are going to go out are going to be more than that, we're going to finance them because this is going to increase the local production, to give more job opportunities, because we are in need in this period to focus on convincing the Egyptian and foreign investors to come and to work with us in this list. For example, you are importing 13.5 or 14 tires, vehicles tires. Equaling $700 or $800 million. But what if I manufacture them here in Egypt? All what I'm going to do is to bring the production requirements. The difference between the difference between manufacturing them here and importing them 200 or 250 billion pounds. This is in only one industry, and this can be implemented on so many other industries. So we as a state, we as citizens, we as investors, we as businessmen, we are in need to finish this sum of money, huge sum of money, in the least period of time. People are saying when we are going to find an end to this crisis. Not to take into consideration what's going on outside, the crises which ended with the price hikes in fuel, in food prices, and in supply chain. What do we need? And here I'm saying that this is an important file which we started to work in for 3 or 3.5 years now. The crisis we are living in right now, it's that if we work hard and whatever we introduce of incentives in this regard, it's not at all equaling affording those $25 billion. So
دولة رئيس الوزراء في ان احنا نتحرك
I echo what was said by the Premier and the Minister of Industry to convince all businessmen and investors to come and to join us in those 150 project lists. It's not only about giving the investor the land. And here I will speak about our experience in the past 10 years. Every time we speak with the investors, they talk about the land. Okay, we are going to give you the land. Then
الأراضي اللي تم تخصيصها وحجم المشروعات.
We reviewed all the projects which were implemented on those lands which we allocated for the investors. Are there enough? We needed to allocate more lands. We were surprised. 30 million meters we were allocated to lands, but only 10% of the lands were used in implementing those projects, and because of this, 17 industrial zones were established by the state. Can we establish more? 17, 20, 30 industrial zones? Yes, if those are required, we will do that. We will not let any investor, whether he is a small or big one, to search for licenses or money to be able to establish his industrial institution on the allocated land. We will build the industrial institution, and you do have the license because we do have a list of projects. We do have a list of projects permitted inside those industrial complexes. We will do more, we will establish more, to give more job opportunities, to increase the local production, and to decrease the imports. But here I should focus on an important point. When we are doing so, it's very much integrated together, interactive together. If the technical education is not generating qualified cadres to work on this, the qualified workers, it's a very important side part of the story. We are late? No, we are not late. We do have priorities to prepare the infrastructure capable of building on it all our industrial modernization or our industrial leap. We were not late, we were just preparing the infrastructure to be ready for such industrial development. I thank you, and I thank Dr. Rania.
يعني تعليق على الدكتورة رانيا.
And to comment on what was said by Dr. Rania Al-Mashat, this coordinating efforts exerted between Egypt and the international partnerships. It's really amazing. Thank you very much, sir. The development financing, it's based on the conditions, low benefits, 6 years granting, 6 years, whether it's public or private sector, they can start their projects and to have their results, fruitful results of the projects, even before the debts. There is such competitiveness among different countries to reach this facilitated financing, and this partnership between us and the international partnerships, it's enabling us to interact with these international organizations. Also, the other thing is not only the state, it's for also the private sector. The private sector is enjoying this speciality with the trust found between the state and the international financing institutions. Thank you, Dr. Rania.